SA Human Rights Commission report has found that over 400 schools in the Eastern Cape alone still use pit toilets. It's also been found that ventilated improved pit latrines, this is a term used by the department, fail to meet child safety standards. Let's unpack the story with Malibongwe Mtima, who is the spokesperson for the Education Department in the Eastern Cape. Malibongwe, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon. 400 schools just in your province still use pit toilets, just in the Eastern Cape.
Yes, I can confirm that number. It's a number that follows, remember initially we had about 1,598. Of the 1,598, 1.4 of them were finished them, and some of them have been rationalized. Those who have been rationalized fall in that 427 because remember some of them had already had these toilets, but they are not up to standard. And as such, we have included them in the group so that they can also be, they can meet the norms and standards as prescribed by the minister. Number two, we also have schools that are old. Therefore, they are, due to their poor maintenance of these ablution facilities, therefore they are no longer user-friendly. Hence, we included them in the 427. So that at the end of the day, when we said we have eradicated all inappropriate ablution facilities, we also mean from those schools that are old and those that are new.
I mean, pit latrines, as you well know, Malibongwe, are not just an infrastructure issue. They're obviously a safety issue. We've had so many devastating incidents of children losing their lives as a result of using these pit latrines. What's even more concerning is that the Human Rights Commission says that even the interim measures the department has put in place is not up to scratch.
Look, the issue of the measures that we're implementing as the department, we're using them as prescribed by the National Department and NPR, including, of course, Public Works. Therefore, for those, I'm sure they will need to be lifted up with the minister so that they can get their attention, because anything that we do it based on the prescribed policies of the department, so that we don't find ourselves on the wrong side of the law. And as such, we're acknowledging that, but further saying it's going to be lifted so that it can get the attention of the minister.
What are these ventilated improved pit latrines? What are they exactly?
It's remember when there was the established norms and standard for schooling that included one the kinds of toilets that or ablution facilities that must be provided to the learners. It meant that for grade R there should be some that are smaller for those that are grade R, and for those that are in maybe junior or senior phase, they must have the normal ones, so that at the end of the day they meet the standards. Unfortunately, they are not waterborne because remember, we're building these ablution facilities in villages where there are no bulk services provided by the municipalities, and as such, we build them meeting the minimum standard as prescribed.
So the minister has set quite a tight deadline. According to that deadline by Siviwe Gwagube and the National Department of Education, she wants to eradicate pit toilets by the 31st of March. That's 7 weeks away, Malibongwe. Will your province meet that deadline?
When the minister made the pronouncement last year, October, we had already spent about 75% of our budget. And as such, we had to reprioritize. In reprioritizing, for instance, we have split them over a period of time to say, for instance, if we want to eradicate all of them, we'll need something like 1.78 billion. And as such, we have said, let's stall other projects and focus only on them so that at the end of the day, they all meet the required standards. And we have made a submission in the recent headcom that we've had where we're explaining our quagmire, stating that despite the fact that we've made some adjustments and or some reprioritization, Unfortunately, the budget that we have will not meet everything. Therefore, we are requesting for more so that we can be able to meet the prescribed times.
So you're saying at this stage, your answer is no, you won't meet the deadline?
Due to those technicalities, yes.
Sure. I'm not quite sure what to say after that. It's taken the Eastern Cape Department, because of all of the schools in the country that still use pit toilets, the bulk of them are situated in the Eastern Cape and in Limpopo, right? And it's taken the Eastern Cape province many, many years to even get the number down from where it was to where it is now to 400. So if you were to say, as a department, what your deadline would be, given the resources you have at your disposal for the eradication of pit toilets. So that doesn't mean a school is using some pit toilets and other proper sanitized toilets, but the eradication of pit toilets. What would that deadline be?
Look, we've set a deadline on our presentation that we made recently on the EDCOM, where we're saying if we can be provided. For instance, we presented scenarios where we said in scenario one, if you'd be given, like I was saying to you, this much, we'll meet them in this within this prescribed period, which is within the next financial year, which is 2025, 2026. But if then the budget is below, then it's going to give us some challenges. Remember, another thing that we need to understand is that the majority of the schools that were in our areas were schools that were built by people or communities that were not meeting the minimum standards, and they were to start from scratch. And we have 5 categories of schools in our provinces: schools that are built in private properties, that we have to take them out and build them in a government property so that those learners can study their way, in a right way. The schools that are in farms were also doing the same thing. Schools that are in newly developed areas, old schools that are these ones that we're talking about, the inappropriate structures that are built of planks and mats. So we're to of the 5,000 plus schools that were to build, I'm sure something like 95% of them had to be built from scratch. Hence, we have been slow as the department, but we're moving because, for instance, recently we're handing over the 105th school within the MTF, an indication that we're pushing very hard to ensure that these ills are eradicated and redressed.
It's something that the department has been saying for some time, isn't it, Malibongwe, that pit toilets will be eradicated. We've had several deadlines over the years, and we have failed to meet them every single time.
The issue has been the financial provision. If you remember when I first said to you, I remember last time we spoke, I said we're needing something like 80 point something billion for the infrastructure. But as you can see, we are going down and the number is becoming lower because at the end of the day, we're trying to make sure that each and every school, whether it's in the village, whether it's in the township, whether it's in town, it's meeting the minimum standard as prescribed.
Yeah, it's the least that our young people deserve. Malibongwe Mtima, the Eastern Cape Education spokesperson, telling us that it's unlikely the province will meet the Education Minister's deadline of eradicating pit toilets, the bulk of them which are situated in the Eastern Cape and in Limpopo, by the 31st of March. That is 7 weeks away.